If you're looking to move to the Twin Cities area, I've got 10 things I think you should know before you make the move. Hey, this is Matt Adelmann. Welcome to your guide to living in the Twin Cities. We talk all things. What is it like to actually live here in the Twin Cities? Where to eat, where to sleep, where to live, where to play, and so much more. In this video, I want to walk through what are the 10 things I think you should know before you make the choice to move here. Or if you're already in the Twin Cities, maybe a couple things for you to think about if you are looking to plan your next move. And so what are they? Let's jump into them. Well, the first thing that I think everybody needs to know about Minnesota, and I'm a lifelong resident. It's been an evolution. I've seen this take place before my eyes, and that is the food scene. The food scene in the Twin Cities is amazing. Last time I checked, it's been a couple years, but we were something like the 4th or 5th or 6th best metropolitan area for new restaurants and new scenes. We have a bunch of James Beard chefs now. We have a bunch of restaurants that have been on the top 10 list, top 10 new restaurants across the country, top 10 restaurants to eat at. And it's a really undervalued thing, but we have some amazing chefs here. Some fantastic breweries, awesome distilleries. It's a really fun scene if you're into food. The second thing that everyone needs to understand if you're going to live in the Twin Cities is that Minneapolis does not equal St. Paul. There might as well just be a huge divide between the two cities, because what usually ends up happening is you live on the Minneapolis side or you live on the St. Paul side, and you don't tend to cross over as often or very often at all. For the first 25 years of my life, I grew up in the Minneapolis part of the Twin Cities, the Minneapolis suburbs. I don't know that I went to St. Paul more than 10 times. And so that's a super kind of weird thing about living in the Twin Cities, that there really isn't a lot of crossover between the two. It's getting better. St. Paul has some awesome new stadiums. Some of the major sports teams are there. The food scene in St. Paul has gotten so much better over the last few years. And so you do have a little more back and forth, but it's a weird phenomenon. We joke about it with a lot of my friends, like, when is the last time you've been in St. Paul? Because we're still on the Minneapolis side. It is what it is. Something to consider. The third thing to consider and understand, and make sure you know about in Minnesota, because it's going to be talked about all the time. I'm sorry, it just is. Minnesotans do this. It's the weather. We like to talk about it. We like to complain about it. We like to talk about it when it's amazing and great. We like to talk about when it's super cold. The reality is we have a long winter. We have an amazing summer. People don't understand how nice summers are in Minnesota, but they're short-lived relative to other parts of the country. So, get ready for winter starting in October, November, and going through March into April sometimes. We've had snow in June. I think the only month ever in the history of Minnesota that has never seen snow has been August. That means we've seen snow in every other month. And so the weather here can be problematic. It can be a bit challenging. But we have some really cool skyway systems in the downtowns to compensate for that. The University of Minnesota and some of the major centers and places that people go and work and play have tunnels or skyways or ways that you can stay inside for the most part, and not really have to deal with the winter all that much. The summers, though, like I said, are amazing, and people forget and lose sight of the fact that we have 10,000 amazing lakes here with amazing places to go and play. And that leads me to my fourth thing that I think you need to understand about the Twin Cities is that cabins are a big deal of our of life here. It's a big part of what we do. People going out of town for the weekends is super common. So if you're new to the Twin Cities, start looking around and understand the different cabin areas throughout the state, and go check them out, because there's some really great places to go and spend weekends, get away, go hang out on the lake somewhere, go fish, go water ski, relax. And if you really love the cabin life, like so many people in Minnesota do, at some point start looking at a cabin as an option. Number 5 on my list. This is really important, especially for people who have families or want to have families. And I want to talk about schools for just a minute here, because schools in Minnesota, broadly speaking, are really strong schools. We have a fantastic public school system. We have a really great private school system. Most people who are new to the state don't understand that sending your kids to public schools in most of our school districts is as good as private schools in other parts of the country. We have some of the public school systems are ranked in the top 10 of the entire country. And so our private schools are great. I'm not saying you don't do that if that's what you're looking for, but the public schools that we have are phenomenal. The schools, broadly speaking, are great. And, a lot of people that come here, they want to pick and choose certain school districts based on, things like secondary education or, programs, sports teams, other activities. And yeah, that'll be different, throughout the different schools and the different cities. But you're going to get a really good education for your kids no matter where they go. Number 6 on my list, let's talk about the people that live in the Twin Cities. Who are they? Where are they from? What do they do? We have a lot of people in the Twin Cities that have been here their whole lives. I'm one of them. My wife, our families, we're all born and raised. We've been here for a very long time. That being said, we have a ton of new people coming into the state all the time. The Twin Cities has some of the largest corporations. Headquartered here, we have a lot of employment opportunities, and so we get a lot of people who relocate here to come work at some of the major corporations. You're going to see things like retail and food are huge industries here, places like Target, General Mills, Land O'Lakes. You're going to see med tech is a huge employer here. We've got Boston Scientific, we have Medtronic, and tons of other businesses that support those functions. Banking is big here. Finance is big here. Agriculture is big here. The university systems are very large here. And so we get a lot of folks that are going to relocate here into the Twin Cities, which means that if you are not from here and you're trying to start, make friends and make a community, sometimes it's a little difficult if you're in kind of an established neighborhood where it's a bunch of people who are from here. But just understand that. Go out of your way a little bit to say hi. Make sure that your neighbors know you're new. And I promise, Minnesota Nice generally is a thing. People want to go say hi and talk and communicate. And, it can be a really great place to live. And, a lot of people that are coming in will make friends with other people coming in too. And so just leverage it. Find some groups to get involved in the schools and the communities. And, it's going to be a great thing. Next on the list, I want to talk to you about houses and types of houses and types of communities. So this is kind of 2 points mixed into one. But if you're new here and you're looking at living in the Twin Cities area and you want a certain style of house or a certain type of house, you may have to really look at only 1 or 2 areas to find it. So what do I mean? What's a good example? Well, if you're looking for a 1920s two-door house and you want, the arts and charm feel, the woodworking, the original craftsmanship, you can't really find that in many areas outside of parts of St. Paul. And so if that's the style of house that you want, you're going to have to look in St. Paul. If you want city living, condos, new big amenities, skyrise buildings, you're really going to get that mostly in Minneapolis, and specifically really in the North Loop and the Mill District area, or Mill City area. If you're looking for acreage where maybe you can raise a horse or two, or have chickens, or have a really, really huge 5+ acre lot, you're really going to get that in the western and southern suburbs. Not even suburbs, like the second ring outskirts suburbs. And so depending on what you're looking for and the house type, we're going to really want to hone in on certain parts of the Twin Cities, which then leads me to the next point. If you're looking for some sort of brand new development, new construction, if you're looking for a neighborhood that has pools and amenities and things for the community, now we're really going to have to get specific. And generally, we're going to be looking outside of the 494, 694 ring that goes around the Twin Cities. So finding a house here is relatively easy unless you live through 2020 to 2022 when inventory was non-existent. But generally, finding a house here is doable. It's just if you're looking for a specific type of house or specific type of community, we need to get way more honed in and make sure that we are looking in the exact right areas for those things. Lastly on the list, just to call out, it's going to come up. People have this question often, and it's around driving and parking in toll roads. We do not have toll roads in Minnesota. We have very high taxes that pay for the roads instead. Or we do have one system here. It's the Easy Pass system. It runs on most of the major interstates that lead into Minneapolis and St. Paul. Easy Pass, if you're coming from one of the other 19 states that are part of Easy Pass, you're going to be familiar with it. But we do have that as an option if traffic is really becoming bothersome and you're tired of sitting in a traffic line and you don't want to leave earlier or later. Easy Pass is an option. And so we have sort of a toll road system. Really, I guess it's more of a pay-to-play system. But Anywhere else you go in the state, no toll roads. It's easy. Parking, usually if you're in the downtown areas, we do have, meters and parking ramps like anywhere else, and all of it's digital and on your phone for the most part now. If you're outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul, pretty much park anywhere. No toll roads. It's pretty easy to get around. So there's the list of 10 things that I think are really useful things to consider before you move to the Twin Cities. If any of this sparked any interest with you, you want more info, you need help finding a house, you're confused on where to go or what to look for, you're not getting what you need, give me a call, let me know, drop a comment below. We're here to support you and help you live the best, most amazing, most fun life you can here in the wonderful Twin Cities of Minnesota.